Welcome to the next lecture of political science for class +1. And in the from the first chapter we have done meaning, and now we will do scope of political science in this lecture. So in meaning we have studied two kinds of point of view. One is traditional point of view and another one is modern point of view. So here we know that in traditional point of view the scope of political science was quite limited, quite narrow, and modern viewpoint has made it quite vast, so it includes everything almost, where there any political event or political activity is involved, right? So if we talk about the scope of political science, it is quite comprehensive. Along with that, it is dynamic. It keeps on changing continuously with the change of time and situation, right? During the times of Greek, only the state and its institutions were studied, but in this modern time we study all the behaviors, all the organization, formal and informal, which anyway influence the political system. So let's begin with the first point. First point is study of state. Study of state means we study state, its origin, its growths, developments, its nature. We study about its past, its present, and its future. In present, we analyze its all the activities, its elements, nature, purposes, and for past, we study what kind of future. For future, we study what kind of state in the future it would be from the present scenario. So political science is mainly concerned with the study of state. Gardner rightly says political science begins and ends with the state. The second point is study of government. In this, we study the kinds of government, form of the governments, activities of the governments, elements of the governments. Right? It forms the subject matter of political science. There are many forms of governments: parliamentary form, presidential form, federal form, unitary form, monarchical form, democratic form, dictatorial form. So we study all those forms, as well as we study the relationship of the government with the people it governs, or relationship between individual and the government, and as well as state and government, right? So third point is the study of individual behavior. Study of individual behavior means being individual, we live in society and we do certain activities, we act, right? And those act can be categorized as political, social, religious, economical. So here all the political acts that anyway being individual we are involved in, we study in it, right? And political acts or activities are forming interest group, forming association, forming political parties, election, contesting election, forming government, running the administration, all those activities which fall in the political behavior of man, we study in the scope of political science. Next point is study of international organizations. International relations first. Yes, international relations, as we living in a society make relations with other people, same way states are international individuals in international arena. States make relation with one another in international arena, and they have certain benefits internationally, right? They do certain activities internationally. Those activities are economical, social, cultural, right? For that they have made certain organizations, certain rules and laws that to operate internationally, right? And those international relations are regulated according to those rules and regulations, right? So we study international relations between different states. Also, on the basis of those international relations, certain organizations are formed, and we study those international organizations right? So next point is international organizations. As a individual, when states operate on international arena, uh, and for proper cooperation they have made certain organizations, and there are certain international laws also, right, to regulate those relations. So those international organizations we operate through are United Nations, UNESCO, International Labour Organization, World Bank, International Monetary Fund, World Fund, World Health Organizations, Human Rights Commissions, SARC, ASEAN, European Union, right, G8, G77, etc. Even for trade, we have trade, International Trade Organization, right? So our World Trade Organization. So these international organizations are studied in the scope of the science. Next point is study of political ideologies. Political ideologies are basically the ideology on which the states are being run, states operate. They derive the rules and laws and regulations from those ideologies. They are basic. Those ideologies are basically the ideal one to be achieved for the state, and it shows the purpose of the state also, right? So there are certain ideologies known as ism, for example, liberalism, individualism, utilitarianism, communism, socialism, fascism, Nazism, Gandhism. So all these ideologies are the part of subject matter of political science or scope of political science. In old times, in ancient times, we know about certain ideologies given by Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Bodin, Hobbes, Rousseau, and in a new time also there are certain ideologies. In the modern time, we study about the Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, and and we also study about the Marxist ideologies and the thinkers, right? So this form the part of our political science. Next is study of controversies and conflict. Living in society, we have certain controversies and conflict too. So those conflict and controversies we study in it, as there are as the resources are very limited, and we have we have so many things to do. So what happens, all states try to capture those resources, and as individual want to capture resources in a society, same way states want to capture the resources at international arena. So the conflict arises. So to solve those conflict and controversies, right, there are certain international organizations, they give justice, or they try to make consensus among these conflict and states. So these form the subject matter of the scope of political science. Next point is study of controversy. So study of decision making process. As as a nation, we have certain rule making agencies, right? For example, in our country we have parliament, right? It makes rules, and the ministries implement those rules. So so different problems, there are different problems, and the states have to provide solution to those problems through decision making, through rule making. And government is always busy in trying to provide the people all kind of facilities, education facilities, health facilities, employment facilities, right? So they have to make certain decision, and political science is concerned with this process of decision making, through which they provide their people all those facilities, right? And it happens through only through this decision making process. Next point is study of authoritative allocation of values. Authoritative allocation of values means how the politics takes decision and are made achieve decisions are made to achieve different purposes. These decisions or policies are enforced by the states, right? And is normally people accept those decisions given by state. So we study how these authoritative rules and regulations are made, how they are, how goods and services are distributed among the people, and how rules are made for the people, right? So this is the part of the subject matter of political science, and it comes in the scope of political science, right? Next we have study of consensus and conclusions and cooperations, right? So we must remember that where there is disagreement, there is also some agreement and a process of consensus also. So to resolve the problems, we try to cooperate and bring consensus among the people. To solve political problems through consensus, because of this way, political consensus is considered the part of political science. So so we study all those consensus, cooperation, and conclusion in the scope of political science. Study of leadership. The scope of political science includes the study of leadership also, right? Leaders are those who are there to lead the people, and they basically articulate the interest of the people. They form through certain methods, try to form consensus among the people, among different interests, and organize those interests and try to provide through their leadership the solution to those needs and wants and the problems, and this falls in the scope of political science. Study of political parties. Political parties are very important, as in present day the nations are very vast, and one cannot directly rule one's country, who cannot participate in all political activities. So so the people in democracy participate through their representative, and political parties are there to represent them, and they contest elections, win elections, form government, run administration. So all these are done through political parties. So political parties are the subject matter of political science. Study of pressure groups. There are various pressure groups, as there are various interests of the people. So those interests, on the basis of those interests, people form different pressure groups. For example, there are pressure groups of the teachers, pressure groups of the laborers, pressure groups of the traders, pressure groups of different other organizations. So we study in those pressure groups also. Next, study of electoral systems. Electoral system means how who is responsible for the election, how the representatives are elected, what are the different methods to adopted to elect the representative. So all these form the part of the scope of political science. Study of political influences. So political parties, pressure groups, interest groups, labor groups, unions all have certain influences. So we study all this in their influence also, right, in it, and its scope. It is this part of the scope of political science. We study of comparative government politics. We study different governments and their political system, right, and then try to compare it and contrast it, and try to reach on a consensus through it, that what kind of government would be best for certain type of people, right, or for the future, which kind of government will be working better for the people. So it is done in the comparative government and politics, and it is the part of political science. Study of political system. We study different political systems, as the structures of all political system are though the same, but their functioning are totally different. It depends upon the political culture of that country and the political culture and how they have been socialized there. So different political systems are studied and form the part of scope of political science, so that uh, we can understand who actually wield the power, and who right, and what is the nature of the power finally controlled by the people there, right. So it depends, we reach to the conclusion only through the study of political system, study of rights and duties. In every country is known, every state is known by rights it gives to its people. So but with the rights there are certain duties also. So we study these rights and duties also, as these rights are very important for the essential development of the people of the country. Same way it is, the duties are very important for the essential development of that state or that country. So it forms the part of the state, and it forms the part of scope of political science. Study of power. uh, Study of power means with whom the power lies, actually who is the powerful, who is the sovereign in the country. It forms the part of scope of political science. If we talk about the sovereignty lies within in India, it is with the people of India, and the preamble of the constitution starts with this, with the people of India, right. So study of influence, we study influence also, who how the different organizations influence the government, influence the system in its favor, and finally we try to know that which is the most influential power in the country, and how the government is influenced by different organizations, right. So study of authority lies with whom in a society, right, in a state, right. And it depends how it depends on how the system has been cultured, right, and how the political socialization has been done. Next, we study political culture, right. Political culture is composed of attitude, basically of beliefs and emotions and the values of the society, right. So all those attitudes, beliefs, emotions of the society relate to political system, and right, and it forms the scope of political science. Then we have study of political socialization. Political socialization means the formulation of values and beliefs of the people towards the political system. So this is by studying political socialization we come to know that how people have formed their values and beliefs, right, towards the political system. It forms the part of the scope of political science. Then we have political culture, okay, study of constitutional systems. Every country has its own constitutional system. The way we have our constitution and constitutional system, same way other countries do have their own constitutional systems. So political science makes study of all the organizations and their nature, their power, their authority, per as per the constitution. So these all fall in under the constitutional system of the country, right. So study of law. Rules are made by states and enforced by states also, right. A country is known by its rules also, what kinds of rules it gives to its people. So always right, today in democratic states, right, there are rules of law everywhere. Nobody is above the law. Even the highest position is not above the law. So study of law is very important, and it forms the part of scope of political science. Study of political thoughts and thinkers. We know that throughout the histories there have been various political thinkers. They have given their own thoughts, their ideologies, their ism. So they form the part of political science scope. And the study of political terms. Political terminologies like rights, duties, liberty, equality, fraternity, law, independence. So these are the political terms generally Normally people do not know the meaning of these terms, and we study all in political science, and it forms the scope of political science. So these were the scope of political science in brief. I think it is sufficient for the day, as it will form a 6 marks question, and I would request you to write down all the points and try to explain those points in your own words. And I would like you to share the video with other people, other students, so that they may get benefit from it. Do not forget to note down all the points, right? The things that we write, right? It is easy to recall. We keep in our mind those points for a longer time. Do revise, and do not forget to like the video. Thank you. God bless you. Take care.